Imagine hearing your mother's voice calling for help from the bottom of a dark concrete pit. You run to the edge, but by the time you realize the voice is coming from a creature that hasn't seen the sun in 1,000 years, it's already too late. This is the reality of SCP-939.
Item number SCP-939. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-939 specimens are to be contained within a specialized, environmentally controlled habitat at Biocontainment Site 14. The containment area consists of 2 primary cells designated 939A and 939B, each measuring 10 meters by 10 meters by 7 meters.
These cells are to be constructed of reinforced concrete and lined with sound-dampening acoustic foam. The environment must be maintained at a constant temperature of 0 degrees Celsius with a relative humidity of 100%.
Access to the containment area is strictly regulated and requires Level 4 clearance. No personnel are permitted to enter the containment cells under any circumstances. Observation must be conducted via remote access infrared cameras and motion sensors. The air filtration system must be equipped with high-efficiency particulate air filters and a chemical scrubbing unit capable of neutralizing Class C aerosolized amnestics.
All personnel working within a 50-meter radius of the containment zone must wear Level A hazardous material suits equipped with independent oxygen supplies. In the event of a containment breach, the affected area is to be flooded with gaseous sedative Agent 99. If the specimens are not incapacitated within 5 minutes, a site-wide lockdown will be initiated, followed by the deployment of Mobile Task Force Nu 7, known as Hammer Down.
Description: SCP-939 is a pack-based apex predator characterized by its unique method of luring prey. While physical appearances vary slightly between specimens, the average SCP-939 stands approximately 2.2 meters tall when upright and weighs roughly 250 kilograms. Their skin is a translucent, vibrant red, stretched thin over a highly resilient endoskeleton. They lack a respiratory system in the traditional sense, instead absorbing oxygen through their skin via a process that is not yet fully understood. The most striking physical feature of SCP-939 is its lack of eyes. The creature possesses no ocular organs, relying instead on a highly developed sense of hearing and sensitivity to thermal and tactile vibrations. Their skulls are elongated, housing rows of needle-like obsidian-black teeth capable of exerting pressure in excess of 30 megapascals. The primary anomaly of SCP-939 is its vocal mimicry. SCP-939 specimens are capable of perfectly imitating the voices of their previous victims. This mimicry is not the result of a conscious understanding of language. Rather, it is a biological reflex. When a specimen consumes the brain tissue of a human subject, it gains the ability to replicate that subject's voice, including their specific cadence, accent, and emotional inflection. The creatures use this ability to lure further prey into their hunting grounds. They often repeat phrases of distress, such as, "Help me, is anyone there?" or "Please, it hurts," in the exact voice of someone the target might recognize or feel compelled to assist. It is important to note that SCP-939 does not understand the words it is speaking. It is simply playing back a recording to trigger a biological response in its brain. Furthermore, SCP-939 continuously exhales a low-density colorless gas designated AMN-C8. This gas is a potent aerosolized amnestic.
Upon inhalation, human subjects experience profound anterograde amnesia, losing the ability to form new memories while exposed to the gas. This allows SCP-939 to hunt with near total impunity. Even if a victim manages to escape an initial strike, they will often forget the encounter entirely, walking directly back into the predator's reach moments later.
Observation Log 939-01. The following is a transcript of an interaction between SCP-939-101 and SCP-939-102 within Cell 939-A. SCP-939-101. Can you hear me? I think my leg is broken. SCP-939-102. Please, just stay still. The doctor is coming. SCP-939-101. It's so dark in here, I can't see anything. Where are you?
Note from lead researcher Dr. Era Stone. The voices used in this exchange were identified as belonging to D9234 and researcher L. Miller, both of whom were terminated by these specimens during Site-14 containment failure 3 months prior. The creatures are not communicating. They are simply cycling through their library of sounds. It is a chilling reminder that there is no mind behind the voice, only a hunger.
Incident Report 939 Alpha. On October 12th, during a routine maintenance check of the external ventilation shafts, a structural failure occurred in the secondary seal of Cell 939B. This allowed a concentrated plume of AMNC-8 to enter the security observation deck.
The security team on duty, consisting of 3 armed guards, failed to report the leak because they forgot it was happening as they were breathing it in. Surveillance footage shows the guards looking at the alarm panels, appearing confused, and then returning to their positions as if nothing had occurred.
At 03:45 hours, SCP-939-103 utilized its claws to widen the breach in the ventilation shaft. It entered the observation deck silently. Because the guards were under the effects of the amnestic gas, they did not register the creature's presence, even when it was standing directly behind them. The first guard, Sergeant Miller, was decapitated instantly. The second guard, Officer Chen, turned around, saw the creature, and screamed. However, due to the rapid onset amnesia, his scream cut short as he forgot why he was screaming. He stood frozen, looking at the creature with a blank expression before it disemboweled him. The third guard, Officer Vane, managed to draw his sidearm. He fired 4 rounds into the creature's chest. The specimen did not recoil. Vane then began to back away, but as he moved through the cloud of AMNC-8, he stopped, holstered his weapon, and asked the creature if it had seen his keys. SCP-939-103 then proceeded to consume the subjects. 30 minutes later, the site's automated systems detected the biosignature drop and triggered the lockdown. When the retrieval team entered the observation deck, they found the room empty of life. The only sound was the voice of Sergeant Miller coming from the shadows of the ventilation shaft, repeatedly asking, "Does anyone have the time? My watch stopped."
Addendum 93905, Reproduction and Life Cycle. The reproductive cycle of SCP-939 is as disturbing as its hunting methods. SCP-939 is viviparous. After a gestation period of approximately 12 months, a female specimen will give birth to a litter of 6 to 8 offspring.
At birth, the offspring do not resemble the adult specimens. They appear entirely human. They are indistinguishable from human infants in every biological metric tested, including DNA sequencing, bone density, and internal organ structure. These infants are typically deposited by the mother in populated areas, often near hospitals or orphanages.
The children will grow at a normal human rate displaying typical human behavior, intelligence, and emotions. However, upon reaching puberty, usually between the ages of 12 and 15, the transformation begins.
The first sign is the loss of pigmentation in the skin, followed by the gradual dissolution of the ocular organs. The child will begin to experience extreme sensitivity to light and an uncontrollable urge to seek out dark, damp environments. Within 30 days, the skeletal structure will shift, the jaw will elongate, and the child's skin will harden into the translucent red hide of an adult SCP-939. During this transformation, the subject remains fully conscious.
They often plead for help from their families, unaware of what they are becoming. It is during this final stage of molting that the creature first begins to mimic the voices of those around it, often using the voices of its own parents or siblings, as it eventually succumbs to its predatory instincts and consumes them.
Case Study: Subject 939, Child 04. Subject was a 13-year-old male named Thomas, raised by a foster family in rural Ohio. Thomas was a straight-A student and an avid track runner. On his 14th birthday, he began complaining of itching under his skin. Over the next 2 weeks, his parents recorded his descent into what they believed was a severe medical crisis. His eyes turned milky white before liquefying and draining from his sockets. He began to sleep in the crawl space under the house because the air felt better there. On the final night, Thomas's father David entered the crawl space with a flashlight. He found his son hunched in the corner, his skin glowing a dull, sickly red in the beam of light. David's last recorded words on his cell phone were, "Tommy, it's okay. Just come out. We can go to the hospital." The response from the shadows was Thomas's voice, but it sounded distorted, as if being played through a broken speaker. It said, "Tommy, it's okay. Just come out. We can go to the hospital."
When Foundation recovery teams arrived, they found the house empty. The only thing left in the crawl space was a pile of human clothes and a set of bloody footprints that led into the nearby woods. The footprints were not human. The Foundation currently monitors 12 at-risk children who are suspected to be SCP-939 offspring. Final summary. SCP-939 represents a unique threat to Foundation personnel and the general public. Its ability to weaponize human empathy through vocal mimicry, combined with its tactical use of aerosolized amnestics, makes it a near-perfect predator. There is no evidence of higher intelligence, no culture, and no motive beyond the biological imperative to feed and reproduce. They are not ghosts, and they are not demons. They are animals that have evolved to hunt the one thing that thinks it's at the top of the food chain. If you are ever in the field and you hear a collie calling your name from around a corner, do not answer. Do not move. Check your oxygen levels. If you realize you can't remember how you got into the room, it's already over. You aren't listening to a person. You are listening to a memory that is about to eat you. Subscribe for more classified files.